Yes, good evening from Ottawa, Canada. This is Professor Taj Al Khazin connecting with you from Ottawa. And today is 29th of October 2023, and it is a Sunday. I apologize for the long lapse of time whence we did not communicate. The last time I think I was connected with you was September 10th. So it was quite a while back, but I was away in North Africa and I just returned to catch up. The last time I talked to you was the title was Unity and the Scientific Sequence. And by unity, I meant unity state and the dredging they were doing. It was understood and they were and are still playing with fire. This episode, this YouTube is titled South Sudan and the Road to Recovery. Isn't it time for the night to dismount? I'm not a politician, so I am not requesting or hinting from a political angle that the president, His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, should dismount and not contest the elections. It is actually my concern about his grace, my concern about his legacy, my concern about his well-being, and my concern about his retirement life if it does not start while he's still in control. So my entry point is an entry point of concern and respect for the man. He's a public figure. He's not a saint. He makes mistakes and he do right things. And he's subject to criticism and points of opinion by people who care about South Sudan. Someone from Equatoria shared with me a rather worrying uh, piece of news. He said that the Honorable Martin Elia said Kiir has nothing to offer than his beard and the cap. And without me governing the country, would have collapsed. He wants women, and I supply him with women. He wants alcohol, and I do supply him with them. And this is the way I govern the country. If this is true, if this is not a fabrication, it is unfair. Salva Kiir Mayardit is a liberation hero and has ruled the country for 18 years now, from 2005 until now, under very difficult conditions. We must treat him with respect. We want him to exit with grace and keep his dignity. I am going to share with you 3 videos that tell you clearly that both he and South Sudan are better off if he honorably dismounts. I will share with you the videos without comments. And for now, I will share with you the videos in total lengths. Please bear with me. And then in the next YouTube, in a few days, I will tell you exactly in the YouTubes where you should focus. And I will tell you exactly what you should listen to. And I will tell you what to observe in those YouTubes other than your own observation. I shared some of my concerns with one of the vice presidents, and his reply was he's fit. He's younger than many other heads of African states. May be true, but my friend, two wrongs do not make a right. They make two wrongs. And this is one of the uh, pandemics of Africa that people, when they sit on the seat, they don't want to leave. So the fact that there are people older than him, it doesn't mean that he is fit to rule, because health come into the situation. Right. And what I'm going to do, and bear with me, I am going to share the screen and I am going to share with you the videos. And if that does not work, then I will have to try. I will have to try again.
Your Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Chairman of the Committee of African Governments on Climate Change, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Your Excellency Antonio Guterres, United Nations Secretary General, Your Excellency John Kerry, United States Climate Change Envoy, Your Excellency Dr. Sultan Ahmed Al-Jaber, COP28 President Designate and the UAE Special Envoy for Climate Change, Honorable Ministers for Climate Change, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let me start my remarks by expressing my deepest gratitude to the government and the people of Kenya for the warm welcome and for successfully hosting this first Africa Climate Change Summit. Excellencies, the biggest threat faced by humanity today is climate change. It is a threat whose effects are felt by all. But its causes have their roots in the action of a few. Take Africa for instance. We collectively emit less than 5% of carbon, but we are the most vulnerable region. My country, South Sudan, with tiny emissions, for example, is currently experiencing floods, droughts, heat waves, and irregular rain patterns. We have over 2 million people who have lost their livelihoods. as a result of climate change and are in dire need of support. In the face of this reality, we cannot continue to lament about the impact of climate change, nor continue to wait for the financial support that has been promised but not delivered. We must seize this opportunity given to us by this African Climate Summit to come up with additional ways to address the impact of climate change. Why am I calling for additional measures? The reason is very clear. The $100 billion that was pledged at the United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP15, in 2009, has not been delivered. More importantly, that amount is not enough because Africa alone requires over $3 trillion to enable, mitigate, and adapt to the climate change. As Africans, we need to understand that transitioning to low carbon economy will come from within, and its path lies in operationalizing the theme of this summit, driving green growth and climate finance solutions for Africa, and well. This is the way to go. Driving green growth will allow us to come up with solutions that will address the financial gap between what was pledged in Copenhagen summit in 2009 and the actual figure needed by African countries to combat climate change. Excellencies, in South Sudan, we are endowed with the natural resources, and the challenges we face as a country are about finding ways to exploit these resources in a sustainable manner. The key question we have always is, how do we responsibly exploit these resources in ways that contribute towards mitigation and adaptation to the impact of climate change. Part of our answer to these challenges lie in aligning our climate change policy with climate action plan that cuts emissions and adapt to climate impact. Presently, South Sudan has developed its second nationally determined contributions with the goal of generating 3,000 megawatts of renewable energy from hydro, solar, with the solar with wind, and geothermal gas. This to us is the path to net zero carbon by 2050. On top of this planned path, we aim to embark on climate-smart agriculture to meet our food needs. Apart from changing how we plan our development, mitigate the impact of climate change, we also have a vast potential in carbon trading that can generate further revenue to finance our climate adaptation. Our natural forests and the wetlands have the largest capacity to absorb carbon in the world. In fact, I'm proud to say that the wetland in my country is the third long of the world. These ecosystems can sequester millions of tons of carbon dioxide annually, and in them lies the potential for carbon trading I just mentioned. Excellencies, what I have enumerated are steps we can take individually as countries to reverse the impact of climate change. However, we in the global South expect developed countries to play their part, first by cutting their emissions by over 45%, and second, by living their commitment that was made in 2009 in Copenhagen, finance climate adaptation in developing countries. We cannot meet the target of maintaining the temperature rise to 1.5 Celsius by 2030 if the developed countries fail to meet their commitments, both in providing resources to assist with climate adaptation and leading the way in cutting their own emissions. Once again, I congratulate Kenya for successfully organizing the first Africa Climate Summit. I hope that all of us will speak with one voice at COP28 in Dubai. The time for climate action is now. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Let's give a round of applause to President Salva Kiir.
Through an act of parliament, more importantly, we have increased education budget with the goal of paying teachers a living wage. In the health sector, we plan to dedicate resources towards providing affordable and standard health care. And this will be done through primary health care approach that is inclusive and cost effective. Excellencies, on climate change, South Sudan is dedicated to addressing its adverse impact. We plan to prioritize sustainable and use sustainable land use, promote renewable energy, and collaborate with international partners to reduce carbon emissions and protect our environment for generations to come. While working on this, it is only fair for us to call upon developed countries to cut their emission by 45% and honor their pledges of availing funds for mitigation, adaptation, and loss and damage to the developing countries. With the recently concluded Africa Climate Summit held in Nairobi, Kenya, it is high time that the declaration of the summit forms the new crisis for rebuilding trust and regaining global solidarity for attaining the 2030 Agenda. Excellencies, we acknowledge the political, humanitarian, and security challenges we have faced as a country since 2013. However, we have turned the corner with the signing of the revitalized peace agreement in 2018. Now we are determined to build on the commitments of our revised national development strategy 2021-2024 to consolidate peace and stabilize the economy. Ongoing public financial management reforms and recently concluded National Economic Conference from solid basis for sound management of public resources for the benefit of our citizens. What remains now is to fast-track the implementation of the remaining provisions in the agreement in order to conclude the transitional period peacefully through fair, transparent, and credible elections in 2024. We have also managed to engage in dialogue and consultation with the various stakeholders, including civil society, women, youth, traditional leaders, and opposition groups to ensure that our peace process is owned and driven by our own people. As we move in this direction, we call upon the United Nations to lift the arms embargo imposed on us to aid peace implementation and to secure the elections. The arms embargo has impeded the implementation of security arrangements because effective deployment of the unified forces which we have graduated cannot happen without arms. Excellencies, as the country sharing the border with the Republic of South Sudan, South Sudan has received thousands of Sudanese refugees and our returnees since the conflict broke out in the Sudan in April 2023. This influx has overwhelmed our border communities and created a humanitarian crisis. I'm appealing to the international community to avail resources to help refugees and displaced persons who crossed into South Sudan. While the world is dealing with multiple crises, we call for a provision of sustained support to these displaced persons as we work on how to restore peace and stability in Sudan. In closing, South Sudan stands before this esteemed assembly as a resolute partner in the collective pursuit of a better future for all. I extend our hand of friendship to fellow member states, international organizations, and civil society. Thank you very much and for your kind attention to these new remarks. Thank you.
On behalf of the Assembly, President of the Republic of South Sudan, for the statement just made, and I request protocol to escort His Excellency.
Ahora
Уважаемый господин президент, уважаемые друзья, я очень рад видеть вас в Москве с официальным визитом. Вы уже были в нашей стране в 2019 году на первом саммите Россия-Африка в Сочи. Хочу вас поблагодарить за то, что вы на высоком уровне обеспечили представительство Южного Судана в Петербурге на втором саммите Россия-Африка, который мы проводили этим летом. И хочу отметить, что он прошел весьма успешно. Отношения между нашими странами развиваются весьма интенсивно. Мы были одной из первых стран, которые признали суверенитет и независимость Южного Судана. И должен сказать, что мы считаем, что многое предстоит еще сделать, прежде всего в сфере экономического развития. В прошлом году у нас наблюдался некоторый спад товарооборота, а в этом году, правда, мы являемся свидетелями того, что товарооборот растет. Правда, и это только самое начало. У нас много хороших возможностей в самых разных областях, в том числе в энергетике. Надеюсь, что те наработки, которые есть, в том числе, имею в виду и строительство НПЗ в вашей стране с участием нашей компании и планы в вторую очередь создания, в вторую очередь этого завода пойдут на пользу развитию наших торгово-экономических связей. Мы продолжаем работать в гуманитарной области. В учебных заведениях нашей страны проходит подготовку граждан вашего государства, и мы намерены расширять это.
And we are eager to expand this cooperation further. I know that you have direct contacts with our regions, including the Republic of Tatarstan, and I hope that this line of activity will progress. Definitely we are aware of the fact that further progressive development of your security situation to resolve all the legacy problems that you inherited from the past is necessary, so we'll do our utmost to support you in this domain also. So I really am glad that you have found an opportunity to pay us a visit to discuss all these issues, as well as be able to talk about the regional stability and security. I would really like to know what you think on all of that. What's your take on that? Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and warm welcome to Russia.
Thank you very much. And I am happy for the warm welcome that has been given to us with my delegation. And I'm here today as an opening for our long work in the future. We will work together as I have come here. Yes, as you said, it was the first time when we met in Sushi, and then nothing has been done after that. I am happy that I'm here today and will have to say other things, maybe in the same meeting or in the other meeting, and we will work together. As the world dictates, nobody can stand alone, and I cannot do it alone. We are the youngest nation in the world, and we need strong friends. You are one of them, and we don't see any alternative besides you. And today I don't really have much to say, but I have to thank you for the invitation to come to Moscow. Thank you.
I thank you, Your Excellency.
Right. We listened to 3 recordings, all in 1 month. All of them are in 1 month. The first recording in Kenya was in early September. And the second recording of the UN was in mid-September. And the last recording in Moscow during the visit was toward the end of September. So all 3 recordings were in 1 month, and you have seen the quality of presentation, let alone the quality of the material. My concern really is for the stature and for the image of the president as a freedom fighter and as a liberator and as someone who tried his best for many years. The fact that the system is failing, the government is failing, is not necessarily all his mistake, but it will be a mistake if he continues. If I were President Kiir, and after I listen to these recordings, I would fire the entire staff of the presidency, all of them, for failing to better advise the president, for failing to better manage the respect and keep the image of their president. I think I will stop there. This is meant really just to open this kind of presentations, and so that you listen to these re-recordings, so that whatever I am going to say in the future is based on evidence like what you have seen. And I would like you to note the looks on the face of people. Look at the cynical smile of President Putin. Look at how the audience in Nairobi were looking at each other. Look at how Ruto and the AU horrible man, look at their cynical looks on their faces. Why does the presidency subject the president to that? I think I will end there, and until I see you in a future YouTube, stay well.